Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.
Good morning, second grade. Welcome back to our PBS classroom. My name is Mrs. Vane. I'm so excited to have you join me so that we can become amazing readers and writers. And I know you guys are ready for third grade because you guys are becoming amazing readers. So I have a bit of a challenge book for you guys. It is a chapter book. It's a little bit more challenging. So those of you that are up to a challenge, try to pick up this book to read. This is a chapter book called Newbie's Story. And I knew I would love this book because first, I looked at the picture. It was a real photograph. And then I read a little writing that on the paw, and it says, the true story of how one special dog beat the odds. And I went, oh, how sweet. And then I started flipping through the book, and I went, oh, it's a little bit harder. There's not a lot of pictures, so I know it's going to be challenging. And then I saw some real photographs, and I thought, ooh, I think this is a book that I want to read. So these are strategies that you can use when you're trying to pick out a book to read. And then the last thing I did was I went to the back of the book, and I quickly just kind of read, was this a book that would be interesting for me to read? And it says, when Newbie the boxer was born, there was something different about him. That's because Newbie was born without his two front legs. He was so small and sick that the humans who rescued him weren't sure he would make it. And I went, oh, I do want to read this book. So that's how I decided I would want to read this book. So you see all the strategies that I had to do to try to see if I want to read this book. So use that when you are picking up a book to read. Now, if you thought that sounded interesting, you want to read this book, you can check on Sora to see if this story is available on Sora for you to borrow if you have the Sora app, or you can check at your county library or at your school library. And don't forget, I got this at the Scholastic Book Fair. So if your school is having a Scholastic Book Fair, that's another place that you can check to see if there are books that you want to buy to read. All right? Okay, boys and girls. Now, don't forget that I am still waiting for you guys to write me letters. Tell me what you're learning. Tell me what you're reading. If you have books that you want to recommend to other boys and girls, make sure you're writing to me. Use the address you see below and tell me all about what you're learning or reading, and I'll send you one of these. Let me get them. Awesome activity books. So if you don't have one, that's how you get one, by writing to me. So don't forget to put your home address or your return address so I can send one of these awesome activity books out to you. All right. Okay, I'm going to check my mailbox to see if I get letters from you next week. Hopefully there will be some letters there. And don't forget, you can also email me. Okay, boys and girls, are you guys ready? Let's get ready to, that's right, make our brain stronger. So we're going to start with our listening ears. So turn up your listening ears so that we can practice our listening skills. And we're going to be practicing our phoneme segmentation today. And all that is I'm going to say a word. Your job, segment it, break it up into the different phonemes. Tell me how many phonemes you hear. Are you guys ready? Okay, I'm going to use my dots to help us again. Let's see if you guys can do this. First word is loose. Say it, loose. How many phonemes did you hear? Oh, let's check. Ready? Loose. O, oo, s. How many? 3. Good job. Loose. Okay. That was a good warm-up. Okay, let's continue. Ready? What about this word? Treat. Treat. How many phonemes in the word treat? Segment it. Let's check it. Ready? T, r, eat. How many was that? 4. 4 phonemes in the word treat. Good job segmenting. Okay, last word. Ready? Chase. Chase. Okay, segment it out. How many phonemes did you hear? Chase. Let's check. Ch, ace. How many? 3. Good job, boys and girls. Good job using those listening ears. Okay, Now, let's go into our focus of the week. Now, remember, we are done learning all of those spelling patterns. So now we've got to use that when we read so that we can become fluent readers. And to do that, we're going to be practicing how to divide our words into syllables to help us read, because our brain does this automatically. That's what good readers do. Okay. So last week we practiced the open and closed syllable, syllable pattern. This week we are practicing the silent E syllable pattern. And you guys already know the silent E. We call it the silent E, the bossy E, the magic E. We know that its job is to make the vowel, say a long vowel sound, right? So as you're reading, this is what our brain's going to do. It's going to look for that pattern, that consonant, vowel, consonant, silent E pattern. And our brain knows we're going to keep that together when we read so that we can divide words into syllables so that we can, that's right, practice being a good, fluent reader. So let's practice. I have some words here. So if I was reading and I come across this word, I'm going to think, okay, how am I going to sound this word out to read? First thing, because I know my consonant, vowel, consonant, silent E pattern, I'm going to look for it, and I see it right here. My C-I-D-E pattern, my consonant, vowel, consonant, silent E pattern. So in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, so this is by itself. So I'm going to look at the first pattern, and I know there's no consonant there, so it's an open vowel, so the E is going to say E. So help me read the first syllable, D. Right? Now, the second syllable, I know this is going to say I, but here's the tricky part. The C-I, don't forget, it's my soft C, so that makes the S sound. So that's actually says side, side. Put it together, decide. What's my word? Decide. Oh, that wasn't too bad, was it? Oh, you guys are getting so good at reading and becoming fluent reader. Decide. Now, what if I was writing? So if I'm writing and I come across this word, advise or advise, I want to spell that. I'm going to first divide into syllables. Advice. Okay. Advice. First syllable was add. How do I spell that? Add. Add. A-D. My next one is vice. Advice. Okay, so that's my second syllable. Vice. We know that. How do I spell vice? V-eyes. There's my consonant. I. Silent E. What makes the last consonant sound? S. Advice. So if I was spelling, that's how I would spell advice. A-D-V-I-S-E. Just like that, boys and girls. You got this. So we'll continue reading words with the consonant E, consonant, silent E pattern. So today I have a story for us to recall rabbits. And I want you to read along with me and see what our brain does as we're reading. We're going to look for those patterns. Our brain is going to know that it's a consonant, vowel, consonant, silent E pattern, and then it's going to read it correctly by dividing those words into syllables. Okay? So practice reading along with me. Ready? We'll start with the title. Rabbits. Good. If you go outside on a fine day, you may notice rabbits. Rabbits live under the ground. They often come to the surface of the grass. They hop about looking for food. You could conclude that they have an easy time. This is not always true. Rabbits need to be aware when they are out. There may be danger, like reptiles. Rabbits make good pets. Before you decide to purchase a pet rabbit, you must learn about them. You need to know where the inside rabbit will live. You need to know what it will eat. Ooh, interesting story all about rabbits. Now, did you notice any of those words with that consonant, vowel, consonant, silent E pattern? There was a few in there, right? Like here's my word, outside. With my side. You see that? Conclude. You see what my brain did? Here's my pattern, keeping it together. And reptiles. Did you see that? There's that tiles, keeping those syllables together. There are a lot more, boys and girls, but you guys did a great job reading that. Now, tonight, I want you to write about a pet you would like to have. Share that with your family tonight, or write it and send it in to me so I can read what pet you would like. All right? Okay, boys and girls. Now, let's go and practice our high frequency words because we are practicing being a fluent reader, right? And part of that is knowing how to read your high frequency word automatically because these are words that we should know how to read and write because they show up so often. That's why we call them high frequency words because they show up most frequently. All week we had 10 words. Every day we're going to focus on 2. So let's focus on the 2 for today. Ready? Let's read and write. First word, beside. Read it again. Beside. Spell it. B-E-S-I-D-E. Beside. Oh, and there's that consonant, vowel, consonant, silent E pattern right there. Beside. Good. Next word, notice. Again, notice. Let's spell it. N-O-T-I-C-E. Notice. Good job. Let's read my 2 sentences so that we can try to figure out which one of these words will go into the sentence so that it will make sense. Ready? My dog walks, me. Second sentence, did you, the bird in the tree? Okay, use your context clues. Help me. My dog walks. Good job. I hear you. Beside me. And did you notice the bird in the tree? How did you do? Awesome job, boys and girls. Good job. Let's practice reading our high frequency words that we're learning this week. Ready? Beside, notice, became, hello, surprise, alone, suppose, for, large, and round. If you are noticing that you're having trouble with 1 or 2 of them, make sure you're writing them down and practicing them daily. Okay, let's go into our structural analysis. This week, we're going to be focusing on prefixes and suffixes, and this is a skill that we have already learned. So we're going to review the skill. Remember, prefixes come in the beginning of a word to change its meaning. Suffixes are added to the end of a word to change its meaning. And we learned re, un, and dis, and full, and less as our prefixes and suffixes. So I want you to read a sentence, and then we're going to find our word with the prefix or suffix, and then we're going to try to define it. Ready? It is unwise to bother Sam while he is reading. Did you find a word with a prefix or suffix? Good job. Here it is. Unwise. Now, what does unwise mean? Well, let's see. So if I was reading and I'm not sure what that word means, I know I can look at my prefixes to help me because un means not. And so that must mean it is what? Not wise to bother Sam while he's reading. Do you see how I use my prefix and suffix to help me define that word? Okay, one last one. Ready? I would like to revisit the zoo. What's my word with a prefix or suffix? Revisit. You got it. Now, what does revisit mean? I want to revisit. You got it. Revisit means visit again. Awesome job, boys and girls. You guys are doing such a great job at becoming smarter and making that brain stronger. So don't forget to come back tomorrow so that we can continue reading because I have a fun story to share with you guys. So have a great day learning, and I'll see you back in our PBS classroom tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.